Welcome everybody. This is going to be an update to choosing a Dragontail rod. I did a video, I want to say it was at least 2 years ago, and they've come out with some new rods. So I thought I'd provide an update and kind of, where I'm at with the rods right now as far as what I have. So I'll put a link to the previous video, so I won't touch too much on those rods that I already did. I'll mention them, but I won't go into too much detail, and then I'll talk about some of the new stuff coming out. And I thought it was a good time to do it, as they're coming out with the new Tiny Talon 245 here, and they've also come out, like I said, with several other new ones. So we'll just start at the top here. So the Shadow Fire, I tell everybody, if that's asking, I just want to get into Tenkara, what rod should I get? And equating it to Western fly fishing, it's kind of what I would have considered as the 9'5" weight, kind of the all around, can do a little of everything. And it's a solid rod, and I really don't think, I said it before, there's not a better value in a starter rod than the Shadow Fire 365. It's $85 right now, and you can buy the refurbished ones if someone turned one in, broke one, whatever, and they freshen it up and make it look like new again for even less than that $85. Their big fish rod, which I do still have, that's the Hellbender. That's tried and true. It's a workhorse for me. I do a lot of backpacking with it. It's a 2-position rod, casts easily with one hand, handles big fish, and I use it a lot on the lakes. With long floating lines, and if I'm using a strike indicator and multiple flies, it can handle all that, or I can nymph with it on a river where I'm expecting bigger fish as well. Kind of on the opposite end of that, you've got the Foxfire, three position rod. The thing, it's 6.5 feet up to the other two sizes are higher. The thing that you should be aware of with the Dragonfire, it's a super fun rod. At the longer lengths, it's a very soft rod, so it feels differently at the 3 lengths, unlike a couple of the other rods that I'll mention here shortly. But it is a very fun rod. Green, it has a mixture of fiberglass in it, so you just have to be able to adjust your casting stroke. And if you don't like soft rods, it's only 10 pennies if I remember right at the longer length, so it is definitely a lot softer than some people like. I like it, but it's not for everybody. It's very different than the shorter lengths. We've got the Talon Mini, the pocket rod, 10 foot and change. It's a 310. That rod is going to be one of my kind of workhorse pack rods, along with the aforementioned Tiny Talon that's coming out, the 245, which I am on the waiting list for in the pre-order bucket. So I will be getting one of those as well. But I love the pocket rods. It fits my backpacking, and I just like the Talon Mini 310. I'm sure the Tiny Talon is, from what I've seen, is very castable and just going to be a really fun rod. The Kaida is their pack rod, so it's a 2-position rod, fiberglass in it, very smooth casting. It's a great little rod. Goes up to 3.2 meters, but it's a very fun rod, light, well balanced. The Mizuchi, so in collaboration with Tom Davis, that's a stiffer rod, 3-position, and for what Tom developed it for, in teamwork with Brent from Dragontail, for his small stream, making it castable, but being able to control good sized fish, 14-15-inch fish in very small brushy creeks. It does that job very well. It's good for nymphing as well, with plenty of backbone. For my more open areas that I typically fish, doesn't really fit me as far as the casting goes, but it wasn't necessarily developed for that either, so I don't hold that against it. But I did enjoy the rod when I used it, but it was very select places where I used it. They do have the the spare, you know, 2 sections that make it softer. And I haven't fished them, but I can't speak to that. But, you know, being softer for that rod under general applications would be a good thing. The Ragnarok 400 is a fantastic rod, well balanced. It can handle big fish. I don't consider it a big fish rod. I think it's in that 16, 17 penny range. But it casts very, very smoothly, very easily, and gives you that additional reach. So that's a great rod, you know, if you're looking for a 13-footer. One rod that I was really pleased, which is new, and it wasn't part of my last, you know, choosing a Dragontail rod video, is the Icewing. Brent was kind enough to send me the prototype, and I fished it extensively last summer. Took it on my, you know, week-long backpacking trip. So I've got browns and rainbows and brook trout, and whitefish, and it is a super fun rod. It's replaced my favorite Mutant, which I still have. They're both 3-position rods, and I'll put a link to my comparison of the two. And actually, you can also access them from the Dragontail website. It's got several of my videos. But that rod is very soft, and it's got you know, upgraded materials, and it's just a very, very unique rod. Again, it's one of those that's very soft, which I enjoy, but it's not, I guess, noodly, and I don't mean that in a bad way. When some people describe the longer length for the Foxfire, this rod, what surprised me with it, despite being long and being soft, is the tip recovery was amazing to me. When I cast it, I mean, it one bounce and then it stops. And I've caught very good fish with it in that, you know, 15, 16, 17-inch cutthroats, and it handles them with ease. And yet, as one of my videos, we were catching 3, 4-inch little rainbows with it, and you'll still get a good bend with it. So super fun rod. If something were to ever happen to my Mutant, I would get one in a second to replace it. But right now I'm going to continue to use my Mutant. Now the next new rod that they have is the Kokoro 360. I fished the Falcon prototype last year, and so there's a few things to know about that rod if you don't already know. First of all, it's made in Korea, and it is one of their premium rods, and you know it from the moment you pick it up. The quality of the cork, the fit and finish on it, and how extremely light it is. Now I did a comparison video with the Kokoro with the TB36, which is just a well-known, you know, gold standard, as well as the Anglo & Company Wasabi 360, and you know, the Kokoro is very different than both of those, and it's a great rod in its own right, and it is hands down the best casting rod, in my opinion, that Dragontail has created to date. I didn't buy it immediately. I'm kind of wishing I had, and I still might. But right now, their plan is to come out with some different lengths as well. So I'm kind of on the fence whether I should buy one now or wait to see, you know, is it a longer one or shorter one coming out. I have a lot of great shorter rods, so I'm kind of leaning towards either the 360 or, you know, if they do something closer to a 4 meter, I'd love to see that, just because it's tough to make a good 4 meter rod as far as the balance and the casting. There are a lot of good light, you know, 320 rods, and I'm sure it would be if they make one, but I don't know that I need another one. whereas I would be open to, you know, a longer rod or even a 360 rod. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern on that, but it is a great rod. I know Tom Davis had made his 2025 favorites list as well, and with good reason. I already mentioned the Mutant. It's been my favorite. It's my most sentimental rod just because of the places it's gone with me and the memories I've made with it. The thing I like about the Mutant is that it feels it has a similar RFI at all 3 lengths. So it just feels natural to me. It's right in my sweet spot for my casting stroke. You know, it was the last, I think it was the last rod that I purchased of the rods that were available at the time from Dragontail. And I kind of was like, I'll just buy it just to say I have all of them. And as it turns out, it's my favorite one. So that's you know, one that'll keep for as long as I can. So that's the extent of it. I do have an affiliate link for Dragontail, and those are always, along with some of the other companies, they're always in my video description. If some of them have discounts, some of them don't. But I appreciate everybody that's used those links. The small amount of commission that I get from those helps me, you know, buy additional gear, and, you know, keeps it fun. So again, I appreciate you using that if you are. So that's kind of wraps it up for the Dragontail rods. I've over the last several years, I've come to appreciate what Brent is doing, and the quality of the rods, and more so even the value of the rods that he's providing. I could very easily have, you know, the Talon, my Mutant, and Hellbender, and fish anywhere I want to fish, and have a great time. So I think Dragontail has a phenomenal lineup. They're affordable rods, you know, as good a customer service as there is out there. So you know, I appreciate and encourage everybody to support Dragontail whenever you can. Thanks for watching.